Hey guys, welcome to a new series that I am going to be starting on my channel where I review extreme demons I have already completed and talk about my experience with them and like my thoughts on the gameplay and if I would recommend it or not. I did a community poll where I asked for you guys to comment which extremes you would like me to review, and Remove Submission got 2 comments. Well, a bunch of other levels got 1, so I'm gonna do Remove Submission as like the test for this series to see what you guys think of it. So first I'm gonna talk about why I beat Remove Submission. So this level, ever since I first saw it in like 2021 when it was placed on the demon list, I was a huge fan of this level. I really liked how unique it was, really stood out to me, and I thought the song was really funny, and the fact that it was used in a rated level is rather silly to me. But obviously in 2021 I was not good enough to beat the level, so I kind of just admired it from a distance. But in 2023, as I got better, I decided Remove Submission would be the perfect level to do as a new hardest. I beat this level as a new hardest on May 10th, 2023, so like 14 months ago. It's been quite a while. But I still remember a lot of things about this level because it took me a very long time. It was a new hardest by a lot. My previous hardest before this was 666, and this was a kind of a decent jump for me from 666 because I found 666 to be not too bad even as a new hardest, but this level really actually felt like a new hardest and felt like the experience of like and the struggle that you're supposed to get with a new hardest. This level's just insanely interesting to me, and let's talk about the gameplay. Okay, so the first part, the pre-drop, this part, when I was first playing the level, it was the hardest part. Like, it was so hard, like getting a drop attempt was like a rare thing, but this pre-drop went from being the hardest part of the level to one of the easiest parts. And that was simply because of how consistent it got. The gameplay in the pre-drop got so consistent that I would just be getting to the drop so often towards the end, and it was really nice. I'm glad the pre-drop got consistent as it did because it's kind of long, and if it did not get consistent, I probably would have enjoyed the level a lot less because I really dislike it when the pre-drops are way harder than everything else. Another thing to note is that in the spam parts of this level, in the second half of the pre-drop, I had to switch input devices because I am extremely CPS disabled. So what I would do is, at the point where the red key pops up and if you collect it you die, I would switch to up arrow because that's the perfect point to switch. I don't have to pause or anything, which was really convenient for me, and I was able to just do the spam parts in the later area of the pre-drop really consistently with up arrow. Okay, so the last thing I need to talk about in this pre-drop is the green orbs. Like, the green orbs in this part and just in the overall level are really hard. Like, this is like a green orb demon. You have to hit the orbs so late in most of the cases, and there's other cases where you have to like time a green orb through 2 spikes or something like that. And they're just all really hard. Almost none of the green orbs are really super easy. Okay, so now the first drop. Now I said the pre-drop was either the easiest or second easiest part once it got consistent, but that's because this part is probably the easiest part of the level. And honestly, that makes it the most fun part, at least it was for me, because when I got there I just could go through the gameplay without really worrying about dying too much. Except the ball part. The ball part was pretty hard for me, having to hit all those orbs late. But I found it pretty hard. I did not find the spider hard. I think the spider is incredibly easy. Despite all the tight gaps you have to fit through, it was just really consistent, and I could kind of click to the song and it would just work out for me. So the first drop, definitely the most fun part for me, and it just flows really well to the song. This level has great song representation in both the gameplay and the deco. So now the part after the drop. I don't really know what it's called, but it's like the cube part in between the slow cube and the first drop. So this part is the really only bad part of the level. I did not like this part. It is entirely carried by all the choke points in it. I'll list a few of them here. So first we have the wave spam at like 47% or something. Honestly, this is kind of a skill issue on my part. This spam isn't really hard. I'm just bad at clicking fast and consistently, especially in waves, so I died to that spam all the time, but it's really not that hard. It was just a choke point for me. And there's a bunch of other random orbs, like there's a green orb at 50 that you have to hit ridiculously late. And there's also a pink orb like right before that that is also very, very hard. And there are a few other random clicks throughout the part that are really hard, but another key area I want to mention is the last 5 blue orbs, the blue orb spam. That blue orb spam is so hard. It's like the blue orb spam in the pre-drop, but instead of 0.5 speed, you're 1 times speed, so it's much harder. I had to use spacebar to do that part, and even then, it still was not consistent, and I died to it so much, and that's really annoying, especially considering it's the last section of this part. But overall, this part is not very good. I didn't like it. It killed so many attempts. Like I mentioned, the pre-drop and the first drop are really consistent and easy once you get it down, and then you just get here a lot and just die to the choke points. Okay, so now we get to the slow cube at like 59%. This is my favorite part of the level. It's not the most fun part, like I said, the first drop is, but this is easily my favorite part of the level, especially if the decoration, the city backgrounds and the lights in the buildings switching on and off on the different beats of the song is really cool to me. I think this part was perfectly executed, and the gameplay too. It represents the song really well. Like, there's no spam in this part. It's just like slow-paced timing gameplay, and it's really easy to die out from zero. This part is so hard from zero. It may not seem that hard in runs, but when you're nervous after passing the choke point part, oh, this part's so easy to die to. I died here so much from zero. It's just super easy to choke it, but I do really like this part of the level. I think it's just perfectly executed, in my opinion. It's definitely a really good nerve builder for the second drop. Alright, so now the second drop, this is the hardest part of the level. It's pretty much just like the first drop, but way harder. It has the same game modes, even though they're not in the same order. But the gameplay in the second drop is much harder than the gameplay in the first drop, especially the UFO part. The UFO part is so easy to mess up. You have to do the first click of the UFO a very certain way, or you're just screwed for the whole part. It's so hard to get right, especially with all the nerves you have from doing everything else. There was this red orb at like 77 in the ballpark. I died to it so many times, and looking back on it, I don't even know why I died there. It's not very hard. It's actually pretty easy, but you can hit it too late, even though you're supposed to hit it super late, which is kind of annoying, but not gonna lie, that's probably just another skill issue part on my end. This part, it's so hard, and especially if it being at the ending of the level, I would expect to die here a few times if you're going for this level, especially if it's like a new hardest or one of your hardest like it was for me. But this part, it's still fun. It's just really hard, but it's really satisfying to pull off, and it just feels really good to play despite the insane difficulty compared to the rest. Alright, now the final cube. This last cube is super easy. It's got a bunch of spaced out double spikes, but they are not hard. Just like jump late on all of them. There's one hard thing in the cube, which is the orb spam at 97%. Because it's very easy to hit the blue orbs too early, and then when you hit the yellow orb, you won't go far enough, and you will die to the side of the block you're supposed to land on. This happened to me from zero. It was incredibly devastating because I really thought I was going to beat it when I got to the last cube, and it still took a long time after I got 97 to finish the level, which definitely hindered my enjoyment a little bit, but I still really liked this level overall. So the final summary on Remove Submission is, this level was awesome. I love this level. I would recommend this level to anyone, even if you are CPS disabled like me. There are ways you can get around doing the spams, like you can find easier ways to do them, like what I did with my up arrow strat in the pre-drop. And honestly, it gets so consistent, at least it did for me, all the way up until the 40s, so you'll get lots of attempts to the choke point part, and if you can get consistent at that part, then it's pretty much smooth sailing from there. And I just love this level. The decoration's great, the gameplay's great, it's very original. This is one of my favorite extreme demons in the game, and I'm super glad I was able to do it as a new hardest. I gave it an 8 out of 10 enjoyment when I beat it, because even though I had an awful experience, I died like 65 times or something like that, past 59%, which is the slow cube. But despite that, the level was still so fun, and I love this level, and I would just give it a go if you have the skill. Maybe don't do it as a new hardest like me. If you can, please play this level. I guarantee you will be glad you did. It's so fun, man. Anyways, that's it for my first Extreme Demon review. I hope it was an interesting enough review, and please let me know what you thought of it in the comments, and if I should make more. And also, if there are things I could improve on, like if there are certain areas that I could have improved my commentary on, in your opinion, please feel free to tell me in the comments. I will gladly take any feedback, because I haven't really done a whole review video like this before, where I just talk about a level and its gameplay and my experience. Thank you so much for watching and giving this video a chance. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one.